I believe we are at our best at Planned Parenthood when we are telling the stories of the individual clients who we serve. This project focuses on the quality and impact of those services on the individual lives of our clients.
I think the most important thing that I feel that Planned Parenthood offers to me, I've grown up a pastor's child, and a lot of times we make mistakes in our lives, and a lot of different other organizations that I've been made to feel like, I'm doing something wrong, or because maybe I'm worried about myself, I'm doing something wrong. But when I come here, I don't feel judged, and it's something about when you feel comfortable. And I feel like I'm very comfortable when I come here, and I could tell the counselor anything. If it was something wrong that I've done that I didn't think was very ethical to do, I can talk to her about it, and they will help me get through whatever situation that I'm in, because everybody's not perfect. I had heard about Planned Parenthood as a younger person, and I really didn't know very much about it until I became 18 myself. And for a series of years, when I first started my period, I wouldn't start for 2 months, 3 months at a time, and then I went off to college, and I didn't know when I was going to start, and someone at the college where I went to in Pennsylvania told me that they did have a Planned Parenthood in Pennsylvania, and that was back in 1987, 88. And I went there, and they basically told me about the pill and what I could do. And when I started the pill, then I had normal periods, and right all the way up until then, I had some breaks here and there because I have had children. But when I got back on the pill, I never had any problems with my periods being regulated or not knowing when I'm going to start, unless I was expecting.
I think besides being very evidence-based and being very caring about our patients, we really promote education, not only out in the community but with our patients. Our model is that we spend the time talking to patients about their healthcare issues.
Two stories, actually. The first is I actually got the Gardasil shot here, all 3 rounds of the shot I got at Planned Parenthood, and it helped me out health-wise because it does help prevent against cervical cancer, and my friend was actually diagnosed with cervical cancer, so it personally relates to me because had this shot been out a few years back, maybe she could have been prevented with that. Second of all, I actually came to Planned Parenthood as a last-minute emergency. I thought I had a UTI, so I hurried up and came here, and Planned Parenthood opened. As soon as they opened, they were able to squeeze me in right away without an appointment, which was helpful to me. And they took a urine sample and did a positive test and were able to treat me with a prescription for the UTI. I feel like Planned Parenthood very much cares about their customers. I feel that interaction with them. I don't feel it's a doctor-patient kind of relationship, but more of a friendship, which I think is really important because it makes me feel a little bit more comfortable as opposed to other places I've gone where it's strictly doctor-patient relationships.
Well, I ended up finally being able to go in to get my abortion procedure, and they told me, well, we have to wait. Your procedure's going to be delayed. And I thought, why? This was in 1994. And they said, well, the doctor has to change her schedule. And I said, why is that? They said, so she won't be killed. And I remember thinking, excuse me? I had no idea about the politics. I really didn't pay much attention. And they told me that the doctor had to change her schedule because back in 1994, this is when they were bombing clinics, when they were assassinating doctors, and that really hit home for me. And I remember thinking later, I've got to find out what this is all about. So finally the doctor arrived, and I remember we were sitting there probably 2-3 hours waiting for her to come in. And at the time there were no protesters, but like I said, the doctor had to change her schedule. I went in for my procedure, had my abortion. I remember waking up and I felt a little crampy, but But I remember thinking, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought. I've had cramps worse than this, so that was kind of a relief. They gave me some information, and that's when they told me about Planned Parenthood. And they gave me a packet of birth control pills. And they said, well, here's where you can go to get more birth control pills. Well, at the time, I had a part-time job. I was only making $4.25. I was a college student. And I thought, well, I can't afford birth control pills. They said, well, if you bring in a pay stub from work, you can, they'll base the birth control pill price on your income. And I thought, well, okay. And I said, how much do you think it'll be? She said, probably $5. I thought, okay, I could afford $5. So I took the pills, I went home, I recovered, made an appointment a month later with Planned Parenthood in Canton, and had my appointment. And I talked to them, and I said, I really didn't know anything about your services or what you provided, but I said, if I had been on birth control pills at the time, I probably wouldn't have had my abortion. But again, I was young, I was irresponsible. I didn't really think, it's silly to say, that I would get pregnant. I thought, well, it's not going to happen to me. That's other people. So I will say I was very grateful that Planned Parenthood gave me the birth control. And after I had my abortion and I got the birth control pills, I remember thinking I really need to be more responsible. And that's when I decided, I'm going to have a boyfriend, be in a more steady relationship. And, I dated one or two people after that in a steady relationship. I eventually got married. I had 2 children. And they're both daughters, and I made a point of thinking if I have girls, I'm going to let them know about birth control. I'm going to let them know what their options are, and make sure that they don't have to face what I did.
I had a fibroadenoma within the past, I think that we found it 2 years ago, and I just got it removed last winter, and Planned Parenthood was actually the ones that found it, and it was the size of a golf ball, and I would have never found it because you're not supposed to do self-breast exams until you're about 20, I think, and I was 18 when I first found it, when Planned Parenthood found it for me, so, and then they recommended that I should go get it checked out by professionals, so they helped me out with that because that would have been, it could have been bad. It could have been something bad, and I was lucky enough that it wasn't.
Planned Parenthood is one of the biggest reproductive health care providers in this country. We're one of the largest cancer screening organizations in this country. So I think a lot of women would not have safe, affordable access to birth control, to abortion care, and to cancer screening. And I think that would greatly impact women's health care in this country. I think we do it very, very well, and we certainly service, we see women with insurance, without insurance, and those without insurance, this is an affordable place to go.
My husband and I were trying to have a baby, and I was taking pregnancy tests here at the Akron Health Center before I actually started working in the health center. And I would come over and I would take a test, and everyone would look at me and smile, and I'd be like, yeah, no, and it was usually no. And then finally I took a pregnancy test, and it was positive, and we were so excited, and it was just really nice to, be able to get that service, where I work. And, I think a lot of people don't know that people come in and are happy because they want to be pregnant, and it's really great for us as staff, and for me sort of as a client, so to speak, to say, yeah, I'm really happy about this pregnancy, and thank you so much for sort of being a part of that.